Hi, I'm Tony Fast's daughter.
I'm Tony Fast's daughter.
I'm Tony Fast's daughter. Our family has been blessed to farm in Montana
for over 100 years now.
And it wouldn't be possible without the great team we have
and blessings from our Savior, Jesus Christ.
Well, good morning. I just realized I'm using a different camera than I have been using. Maybe my audio will be better. Now I'm trying to remember why I quit using this one. I don't know. But we gotta go pick up, well, I'm gonna flag down our new grain cart for the year. We got a season demo from Elmer's coming down. 1,300 bushel cart on tracks, right-hand auger. Excited to see how this thing's gonna work. Boy, someone did a phenomenal job on grading this driveway. It was me. Well, since the pea fields are on the way to go meet the grain cart, I figured I better stop and check them. Setting lots of pods. I don't know what they're gonna run. They're not as good as they were in the past just because of this heat we've had the last week, but I mean, there's still some pretty full pods. They're not all 6s and 7s like they have been in the past, but there's some big ones. Some of these flowers on top. I don't know if they're gonna, oh, there is a pod. Yeah, there's still some pods coming in some of those, so. A little cooler weather this week, so I think that'll kind of keep these filling real nice. It could still be 30 or 40 bushels. We'll see. But pulled some plants, dug them out. Get a good look at them. Pretty healthy. Some spots on them. There could have been some hail over here at some point. I don't know. Maybe that is actually disease. Looking at the roots, I know it's really hard to tell on this camera, but there's lots of nodules on these. They're not as big this year as they were like 2 years ago or 3 years ago before we started getting dry. This ground had lots of nitrogen still on it from the last couple of years, so peas are lazy. Like I've said that before. They'll take the nitrogen out of the ground that they need to grow. If they don't, that's what the inoculant is for. They will create their own with the inoculant. So we've been using the Lallman's inoculant. Still pretty happy to see some nodules on these, even though they're not huge nodules. They're still doing their job. Well, that was good timing. Brad just pulled in. All right, I'm all ready to flag. Here we go. Nice little shower. Over that way where it's heading is our last seat of Durham. It's heading out now. Perfect timing. A long, narrow shower. Hopefully it ends up making a good shower out there. Almost back to the bins. Now I remember why I quit using this GoPro, because it just locked up on me again when I was trying to record him pulling in the yard. But it's here. We'll get the 370 unhooked from the baler. He'll get everything ready to unload it, and then we'll get a walk around with Brad. While we're getting hooked up here, pull it off the trailer. Something I really like. I can see all the way through this grain cart. Really nice for moving down the road or backing up or anything. Well, we got the tractor hooked to the grain cart. Brad brought it down from the factory this morning.
Yeah.
Brad, what's your position?
I'm the sales manager at Elmer Manufacturing.
So he's the guy that contacted us, or we met at farm shows a couple years ago and started talking. This is their cart that they wanted to demo to us.
Yep.
And he's going to show us what's different about Elmer's. Go through the monitor, we'll do a walk around of the cart, show us the joystick. Anything else you want to show us? What makes you guys different from other companies?
Well, we're hands-on. I'm the sales manager and I'm here. I delivered a cart.
Yep.
All of the territory managers have CDLs or Class 1 licenses, depending which country you're in. Yeah, we're hands-on. We're building relationships with the end users.
And you guys have a demo program where you'll bring a cart to the field for a day for guys to try out.
Yeah, sometimes it's a day, sometimes it's half a day, depending if the dealer's providing a tractor or not.
Sure.
But yeah, we are fully self-sustained, and yeah, it's a great program.
Cool.
Excellent. I'll start off with the joystick. Actually, we got a pretty fancy joystick here. On the joystick, it's pretty simple. You know, if I'm headed to the trailer right now, all I do is double tap, and you'll see that the auger is going to pivot up first of all, and then we're going to unfold. And we got it throttled down here right now, but typically we're about 14 seconds out and 9 seconds in, which is quite a bit faster than any of our competitors. And one thing you should watch for here is as it comes to mate here, it slows nicely down and completes its landing.
Barely can feel it in the tractor.
Yeah, exactly. When I get up to the truck, I'll pivot it down. The pivot button is the one button that we actually need to hold because I don't know how close you've parked to your truck, but it will come way down. I'm going to go way further than normal here. That's about 8'6" from the ground. Grabbing the middle button here, I can move my spout any which way you want. And all these movements that you see right now are all programmable. So if you want it to slow down or speed up or whatever you want to do, you can make that happen. It's all in our app. On here as well, when I'm done unloading, what I'll do is I'll double tap my pivot up button. What that will do is allow whatever crop is left in the auger to come down. I will send my truck away, which I'll show you guys a little bit later, and I'll drive away maybe 100 yards or so and double tap this button. And if you actually can get up top there, I'm going to double tap 1, 2, 3. So I double tap, that spout comes back to center position, and in it comes at a very fast rate. Now, we're one of the only companies that will actually, we have nothing in our manual that says you need to be stationary to fold and unfold. I don't know if you guys saw this right now, it's still actually folding here. Nothing saying that you can't do this all while driving. Typically, we've provided tablets. For 2025, it will be an iPad. Unfortunately, we have an iPad in this one here right now as well. So I'll just quickly go through this. Up in the top bars here, you will see that there's some icons here. Actually, I'm going to unfold my auger just a little bit, and you're going to see auger unfolded. On the top here, you might get other faults like front of the cart is overloaded, or the rear of the cart is overloaded, or weigh cell malfunction or something like that.
Okay.
By simply tapping on here, it's going to tell me what the problem is.
Okay.
So here, it's pretty simple. I just unfolded my auger. No big deal. I can hit OK. It's nothing to do. But if there's something that actually needs correction, there's a box here that would actually say take me there, and you can actually correct it that easy.
Oh,
you don't have to wonder what the problem is here. Below it is your tare. That will just zero out the scale. Something cool beside here, I wish I was showing a little bit more weight here right now, but if you had, say, 10,000 pounds in here instead of just 10 pounds, you can actually pull your cart up ahead of the combine, sit stationary so it quits bouncing around, and you could actually tap this, and you'll see there's a 0 under here as well. So I'm going to tap this, the 10 goes down here and the 0 is up there. This cart has a digital display on the side, so as I've done this is what we call a temporary tare. The combine operator will see 0 on the side of the cart as well. He can unload his 20,000, 25,000, whatever's in his hopper. Doesn't have to do any math, and he can calibrate his combine. Once that's done, the operator in here can just tap it again and your real weight will show up. On here as well, we're working in pounds right now, but not everybody does. There's your tons, bushels, cubic meters, kilos, and back to pounds again. So whatever commodity or whatever units you're in, this can handle that. Moving down the line here, we got winter wheat. That's what Tony's going to be cutting first. We've set that up already. But by tapping this button, you got a whole list of crops here, whatever you want. And if something's being harvested that's not in here, you can just hit the plus button and add your details. Moving across here where it says last truckload, that's where as we unload, that number will count up, and this big number that we tapped before will count down. This is showing you what the weight on your truck. This is what's on your cart. Gray box beside it, this is my truckload list. I could also hit these 3 lines here and go to unloads. I prefer the truckload, but you could do either one. And you can also send, I accidentally bumped the wrong button there. You can also send yourself a report here as well. So as this populates, your newest load will be on the top, and after you're done your crop, you can send this off to yourself, or even daily if you want. Typically what I'll do, and I'll get into that a little bit later, is I'll give my phone the master command, and I'll send it from there, but that's a different story altogether. In the blue box, that's the fields. You can set up your clients, your farms, and your fields. If you're with John Deere Op Center, you can actually just automatically upload it here as well. The 0 beside that is the weight that's come off the field. We're in pounds, so that will count up in pounds as you take crop off of here. In the yellow box, here's where I think things get pretty cool. We've put 1 truck in here so far. Tony will put his other ones in here, but we'll take a look at it. He's got a white Kenworth. He wants a total capacity of 66,000 pounds in this one. We're running a right-hand cart here right now, so he wants 36,000 pounds in the back of his trailer, and he wants 30,000 up front. So I've set an alarm for 1,000 pounds less than what he wanted in the back of the trailer. So 35,000. He's going to hear a chime that goes bling, and then the operator will need to drive to the front hopper. As the trailer gets full and reaches 66,000 pounds, it will automatically shut the gates preemptively, that it will be within, you know, maybe a couple hundred pounds of 66,000. In the orange box below, that is where the crop is headed. So in this case, we have a 390,000 pound bin. That was how many bushels?
6,500.
Yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, 6,500 bushels. Everything converts to pounds because a bushel really isn't anything as far as the cart is concerned. It can only go by weight. Headed back here, the zero that you see down here, that's your gate position. I'll quickly just open the gate a little bit. You'll see that it's there. I typically don't look at that. I'm usually looking at the decal on the auger itself, but that's what that does. The zero below here, that's your PTO RPMs. And just for a little side note, I highly recommend you run 1,000 PTO RPMs, or else you're going to increase the torque on your drive line, both on the tractor and on the cart.
We just had a conversation about overloading. Slower RPMs are going to overload that shear bolt and the load on the tractor too, I guess.
Yeah, everything has way more torque.
Yeah.
So unnecessarily.
What size is the auger?
This is a 22-inch auger. It will unload pretty close to 1,000 bushels a minute in 15 moisture corn. We don't have a lot of customers that actually run it that fast.
Yeah, your air suspension won't keep up on a truck.
Yeah, we've also designed our carts for Australia. We send a lot of carts there, and they're loading into mother bins that are sitting on the ground, so they can just hammer it right in.
Sure.
Time is money.
Yep.
Going back to the app here, you'll see we got a couple green buttons. So the top green button is your auto gate for weight. So in this case, we're requesting 66,000 pounds. This green button will make it close at 66,000 pounds. If I had a little bit more than that, I want to empty my entire cart. Simply by tapping it and letting it go gray, that will disable the auto gate, and I can clean my cart out in its entirety. If I do that, my gates are now open and I'm headed to the combine. If I forgot to close them, this green button will help protect me against that. So as soon as I hit 5 miles an hour, my gates will automatically close.
So two autos. Auto close.
Auto gate for weight and auto gate for speed.
Yeah, so if you pull away from the truck, you won't shear a bolt because your bottom auger spun full. Exactly.
Yeah, safety first. Underneath you'll see joystick, and what I often do is, guys, I'll actually hold my joystick's broken. Joystick doesn't work anymore. We're dealing with electronics here. Stuff does happen. We have a redundancy in here. Just by, say, I'll double tap the unfold, and away the auger goes again. And you can do everything on this joystick, this virtual joystick, that you can do on the real joystick. As I plug it back in here, you're going to see that those letters go from black to gray, and this button doesn't work anymore. Nothing works. So,
one other cool thing that I have is also on my phone. So if the iPad goes down or dead or something too, the operator can use their phone to do the same thing.
Yeah, and we'll maybe point out, when you look at Tony's phone right now, you'll see that the star is gray on his. So he's the slave here, while this one in the cart is the master. And just in the middle and the bottom there, you'll see a mode button. And if I surrender master, you might not get it here because you looked for it.
Quick.
You went to it before I surrendered. So try it again. I've surrendered now, and now you're master.
So now I can go in here to the joystick. So there I'm adjusting how that spout's moving around. And if I want to fold the auger back in, do we pivot down first, or does it matter?
Nope, you can fold the auger in any position.
And there it goes.
I couldn't see up there while you guys were doing that, but it would have automatically brought that spout to center and folded it up. And once again, really soft landing here. And you just want to see the window. It's actually going to pivot and finish its fold cycle all automatically. Finally, we'll take a little bit of a look at our settings here. I'll skip over a lot of the stuff, but the calibration is a big one. Inside calibration, you could program all your sensors, so your fold and your pivot up and down, gate open and closed, and spout moving side to side is all within parameters. The other big one here is these outputs. So as I mentioned before, any movement that you saw, we can program how fast or slow it goes. And you can just dial it in for yourself. It's pretty nice. So
driver preference or owner preference, maybe?
It's all owner preference, yeah. And the last one I'll show you here before we get away from the tablet stuff is the limits. So not everybody is comfortable unloading 1,000 bushels a minute. So in this case, I've limited my gate to 50%. So I can squeeze this trigger all day long, and that gate is not going to open past 50%. Well, 53, I guess.
So the cart has tracks on it, and you guys built the tracks yourselves?
We do, yeah.
What do we need to be watching for? Like, what's different about them?
Well, there's lots different about it. We run 46-inch idlers on our tracks.
Okay.
Our competitors are 38 and smaller.
Okay.
What that means to you as a farmer, 25% less revolutions.
Okay.
Less revolutions, less hub wear, less bearing wear, less spindle wear. We'll roll out of the mud easier, we'll climb out of the mud, we'll roll easier.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of good stuff there. Also with our tracks, we know you guys have lots more stuff to do than do maintenance. So we've made it very low maintenance for you guys on our tracks.
Okay.
All oil back hubs and really 3 50-hour grease points and 3 annual grease points that we can take a look at. Also to adjust our tracks, way simpler than anybody else. It's all hooked up together right away. Okay. So right now I have the two sides plumbed together, and right now we're showing that our track tension is down. We just dropped it for the video. So what I've done is I've unplugged my joystick in the tractor. I've taken on master on my phone.
It's not straight across, or it's got a pretty good bow in it. We're going to tension them up quick.
Yeah, so I got my phone out. I'm the master here. My joystick's unplugged. You can see that I got a little red Atari joystick emblem here. I'm going to open my valve, and I started in a fold position. I'll continue to fold. You'll see my pressure will keep coming up as I keep pumping. I usually bump it a little bit past center, because it will drop when I let go a little bit. Shut my valve and the tension up. You didn't have to run a hose, you didn't have to do anything like that. It's real simple.
And there, we've got a lot more straight track on top.
Yeah,
and that's easy to see from the cab. Keep an eye on that. We don't have to guess where we're at. If they look, you never know. Someone's eyes might think they look saggier than the other.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if it's in the green, you're good.
Yep.
While we're here, why don't we just take a look at the quick maintenance here. So you walk by, I got oil in each hub, which is great.
Big, nice, clear sunglasses.
We went down some dusty roads here today, but
this cart's about a week old, if even that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just got assembled.
Yeah, and then for your grease points, 50 hours, 50 hours, 50 hours. Really easy to get at, and one bank of 3 that you can do annually. The bank of 3 is just for your hydraulic tensioning cylinder, and for your angle adjust. So what's the transfer tracks mean? I see skid steer, fork holes, and yeah. So we're one of the only company, well, the only company in the grain cart business that does what we call a transfer track. This is a standard 10-bolt ag hub pattern. You take your 10 bolts off, take your hydraulic cylinder or hydraulic hose off, pick it up with a set of forks, and you can put it on your air cart, your manure spreaders, whatever heavy tow application that you have.
So how big of a cart can I put these under? 1,300 per go?
Yeah, 1,300 is kind of our max.
So you put same size front and back?
Yeah,
okay.
Or you can put tires in the front, tracks in the back, however you want to set it up.
Cool. Kind of a nice little feature.
Yep, double use the tracks. They're expensive enough, may as well get some value out of them.
And this is never used the same time as the air seeder anyway, so it makes sense. You can stack one in the corner of the shed, pull them off, and
yeah,
cool.
Exactly. And they're actually easier to change the tires. You don't have to balance them this way.
So since our harvest is pretty dry and wheat stubble is quite flammable, I told them I wanted the fire suppression on it. So that's all ran off a hydraulic pump.
It's all hydraulic pump. It's all in its own circuit, so it's ready to go. If there's an issue, you just hit your switch and we can swear it out right away. There's also 50 feet of hose that if you have a hot bearing or something in your combine, you can pull the hose out and hit that hot bearing right away.
Cool.
These are pretty popular in southern Alberta, Montana, western Kansas, Nebraska, Australia.
Wheat harvest.
Yeah, wherever it's hot and dry.
Yep.
I'll just point out a few things that are different about our cart. Starting up at the front, Other manufacturers are starting to catch up here a little bit, but best $5 ever spent right there. PTO hanger. Why would you want it hanging off your hitch or
get it out of your way,
or even taking it off? That just seems crazy to me. Also, if you ever slug your auger, in our case, we don't have any belts or chains. So what we've done is well, I call it a walk of shame handle. So if you haven't throttled up and you open your gates too far and you slug your auger, you close your gates, you walk out here, pull this handle down, that will disengage your drag auger. You can clean out your unload auger, come back out here, re-engage, and nothing spilt but your pride.
So generally a tractor will stall before a shear bolt?
There's no shear bolts, but the PTO shaft does have a cam clutch in it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that will
that's
slip.
the safety port. That'll slip and then you know something's going on.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty safe, nothing to replace. You just got to throttle down, close your gates, and restart here a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah. Still in the front of the cart, augers. Like I mentioned before, our auger does unfold in 14 seconds, folds back up in 9. Our flighting on this auger is 7/16 max edge flighting, made with hard ox metal, doubled up in high wear areas and chrome plated. So we'll typically outlast our competitors about 3 or 4 to 1.
Good bright light there.
Yeah, light bar on the auger. There's another nice bright light on the inside. There's also marker lights all the way around.
Okay.
You'll probably have to zoom in on those if you want to see them during the day here. They blend in quite well, but at night they're nice and bright.
I see a leg for the rest.
Yeah.
Does it personal preference on whether you fold it all the way like this or want to leave it in a field position?
Yes, if I have a really wide stance tractor, and I wouldn't even consider this wide stance yet, I like it in the down position so I can see my window really well.
Yep.
If I have duals on a 4-wheel drive, like big duals, I'll put it up that way the tires can't reach here.
Sure.
So if you turn this tractor tight, your tires would touch the hitch before they would touch the...
Oh, sure.
Still in the front of the cart, we talked a little bit about how far that auger came down before. It does come down to 8'6", and will go up over 16 feet, so more pivoting range than anybody else.
That's as high as some old grain bins in this country.
Yeah, exactly. But big window front and back. The reason with the big window in the front, it's really nice to unload. You can see exactly what's going on. The window in the back, when we're sitting in a tractor like this, front wheel assist, we can actually look right through and see traffic coming from behind, so we can make a safer left-hand turn. I think that's most of it in the front. Actually, I'll just point out a couple grease points here. With the auger pivot like this, it's a little difficult. Let's see if I can get it in here. Grease point number 1 is here. Number 2 right below.
Just on the pivot of the auger.
Yeah, 2 on that one. There's one right here by the orbital motor. And there's one right up over by the gauge here. So that's the first 4. There's 2 more, one right at the back of the cart and one just in front of the tracks on the passenger side.
Okay.
So 2 feet on the ground, really easy to get to.
Yep. And there are the other ones are for bearings on the auger? The drag auger?
So what we have here is upper hanger bearing here, mid hanger bearing on the auger there, the 2 pivots. The one in front of the tracks there is the mid hanger bearing for the drag auger, and the one at the back is obviously the rear hanger bearing for the auger.
And all those hanger bearings mean it's really quiet.
Exactly. And speaking of quiet and actually not shaking, we balance our augers to within 1 ounce.
Wow.
So when you run this auger, it's smooth. You're not
Sure.
shaking the whole tractor.
I see an oops fixer right there.
Yeah. Everybody laughs when we have it, but every one of my demo guys used the oops fixer last year, and every time it was the semi driver
Didn't
leaving
close
the
their
gates
traps.
over.
They should take a lesson from you about the double click to close, or close automatically when you leave the field, right?
Well,
5
actually,
mile an
when-
hour.
when
It should
you're 5 mile an
automatically
hour,
close
yeah.
your traps.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, we talked about the tracks already, so we'll just kind of skip on by. Another big difference with us, you'll notice our panels are all bolted together. That allows us to do quite a few things, and it has some really good benefits for yourself. First of all, there's a natural stress relief, so we don't ever have a broken seam.
No cracked welds.
No cracked welds. You don't have to take out your welder on this one. The other stuff it allows us to do, because they're all panels, we can powder coat all these panels. So these panels will stay looking better longer.
Inside and out.
Inside and out. If you ever damage a panel, you can replace the
So you
panel.
don't have to worry about rust coming out of a weld seam that wasn't completely, water got behind and all that
Exactly,
thing.
because everything is completely powder coated
Yeah.
before it's assembled. So there's no bare metal on bare metal.
Cool.
Yep. Also looking down the side of the cart, you'll notice how straight it is compared to our competitors. There's none of that waviness
The
caused by
welds
the welding.
cause, yeah, exactly. Where's one of those marker lights you're talking about?
Oh.
Well, they are hidden. They just look like
they're-
bolts.
Yeah, they're really
Little
hidden
penny
here,
lights.
but they are nice and bright in the field. It's amazing what LED does.
Because which truck driver and farmer doesn't like extra LED lights, right?
Exactly. Here at the back of the cart, you'll see we got our gate system back here. There's a wrench in the toolbox. Big difference between our cleanout and competitor cleanout. They typically have about an 8-inch oval and then 2 feet of solid, 8-inch oval, 2 feet of solid at the bottom of their auger trough. Underneath our auger trough, it is pretty much open end to end, other than a few spots for structural reasons. See that we have a ladder. Our ladder is really easy to access. It folds up. Really easy to get up there. So with our gates going all the way front to back on both sides, you're not going to really unload in the front or the rear really fast. It comes down nice and even and creates a more neutral hitch weight. So if it unloads the front first and you have to pull away, it's going to be slapping on that hitch. Yep. And otherwise, if you got too much hitch weight, it's really hard on your drawbar. Okay. So you want it to come down nice and even. Tony, while you're on this side, you mind taking a peek at those load cells in there? Sure. So we've gone to a rectangular load cell. We found that our rectangular load cells have less dead spots, greater accuracy, and in that odd case where they do fail, a lot easier to change. Sure. Instead of sliding a pin in, yeah, you can just replace them that way. Yeah, exactly. Just jack it up just to split your axle from your frame, and you can slide them out. And one thing I didn't mention, our scale system that I was showing you guys before, on there you can actually see what each weigh cell is measuring. Okay. So if you ever do have a bad weigh cell, it takes just seconds to diagnose. Well, I think it's a pretty good rundown. Pretty good day. On the cart. Absolutely. You made it down here, you can get most of the way back home today? Halfway maybe. Halfway. If we're lucky. But, maybe not quite. Yeah, lots of cool features. Really low cart. It is. Size for size, lowest in the market. I bet you it's 2 feet lower than our Avalanche. Not quite, but 14 inches. Yeah, it's a lot lower. Yeah. So it'll be a lot easier if you're any uneven terrain. That auger won't dip into the cart. That's a nice safety feature. Yeah. And how did you guys do that? How'd you get the... you'd have to actually go zoom in there on the axle, but we actually stepped down the axle and dropped the frame down into that axle. So we probably gained about 7 inches there. We did widen our cart out a little bit because that's where you get your capacity from, but sure. Most of it was gained just by dropping our frame into our axle. And if you go tires, it's a whole different cart. No. You have fender wells or not? Yeah, so you have fender wells. So if you have row crop tandems, the height is actually the same. Or yeah, row crop. If you have floater tires, it's 4 inches higher. That's it. Okay. But you will lose about 50 bushels. Gotcha. And this cart, our carts all hold what it says it will hold. The track carts will just hold a little bit extra. Sure. Under the tarp. Okay. So that's like every corner shoved. Yeah, it is. Filled up. Yeah, but on this challenge cart, accepted. Yeah. On this cart, I've had over 84,000 pounds of corn. Okay. And it should be maxed out at what, 50 or 70 some. So 78. 78 would be wheat. It would be wheat, 78. Yep. Corn, 10% less than that. Yeah. So, no, I'm excited. Really cool cart. And color? We do multiple colors, red, green, gray, and blue. Gray is by far the most popular color. We have probably about 4 to 1. Yep. And the other thing we probably didn't talk about is the right-hand discharge on this cart. Elmer's was the one that came out with right-hand discharge. We're also selling those about 4 to 1. Okay, so yeah. High take rate. High take rate, yeah. And once you try a right-hand cart, most people will never want to go back. Yeah, the one downfall I see is you're going to pull up along the other side and the doors from the truck door. But how often do you talk to your truck driver? That's what 2-ways are for. So actually, I think you're going to do it less with a right-hand cart because I'm pulling up from behind. Yep. When I'm done unloading, I'm eye to eye with the truck driver. Nice feature. I give him a thumbs up and he knows he's good to go. Yeah, that is handy. I'm not typically doing that full U-turn with a fully loaded cart. I'm coming up from behind and turning empty. Sure, because your truck's around the corner waiting for you. I'm typically facing the approach, so nobody's sneaking on the field in front of me or behind me, pulling in behind me. I see everything that's happening. Yep. I wasn't sure about it first of all, but I like going back to front way better now. And your auto fold feature takes away the risk of hitting the combine auger. Or the stacks on the truck too, because it pivots up and down. Yep. Yep. Really cool. I'm excited. So am I. So, well, you'll be seeing a lot of this in come harvest videos. So, yeah. Thanks again. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye, everyone.